Now that you've received everything in your protocol to complete it, we want to go over a few things to make sure that you understand how to complete and administer your protocol. Some of the first things that you might find on your protocol are going to be what we refer to as imprints. And those are going to be in bottles similar to this that will have either your practitioner or alternatives for self-healing as the label. And we want to make sure that you understand exactly how to take the imprints. The imprints are very specific. The directions can also be found on your practitioner's website, but we want to make sure to give you a visual. So the first thing you're going to find is most of the time 3 imprints on your schedule. One is called the comp, the info, and allergies. You may have additional ones depending on what's going on with you and the suggestion from your practitioner. Well, the first thing we want to note is that it doesn't matter what order you actually take these in. You can do the comprehensive first or the informational or the allergy first. It really doesn't matter as long as they all go in the specified amount of times on your schedule per day. The next thing we want to make sure is that there are very specific instructions on how to actually take these. The first thing is that when you're ready to complete your protocol in the morning or in the afternoon, the first thing you need to do is activate it. And what we mean by activate the imprint is that we want to go ahead and grab it and put it up against your palm and hit it about 10 times or so. So you'll hit it about 10 times up against your palm to activate the energy within the bottle. From there, you'll go ahead and open it up and take the specified amount of drops listed either on your schedule and on the bottle itself. From there, you can place this one and put it aside and grab your new imprint and wait 5 minutes before you take the next imprint. This is one of the things we want to make sure that you truly understand, is waiting a minimum of 5 minutes in between your imprints before you take the next imprint. You might ask yourself why. The rationale behind it is that we want to make sure that all of the frequencies that we've placed from your very personalized scans into each one of these bottles does not interfere with the instructions that we're giving with the next bottle. So we want to allow at least 5 minutes for your body to process the energy and to do whatever it is that we're asking it to do. If we take it all at one time, it's kind of an information overload, and we want to deter from that from your body and cause any more confusion. Once you put a timer on, which is highly recommended for you not to forget to take your next imprint and not to take it too early, every 5 minutes after your timer goes off, you'll take the second one, again activate it, and go ahead and take the specified number of drops on that particular bottle or on the schedule. However, your practitioner has given that information to you. Now, one thing to note with these is that you'll find that they are in an amber or colored bottle. The reason that is that we want to keep it out of direct sunlight at all times if possible. If it's in, if it goes into it for a little bit, that's totally fine. But we don't want to store them in direct sunlight indefinitely. And the reason that is that the sun has energy and energetic rays. We want to make sure that that doesn't get into your bottle and that's not something that you're ingesting. The other rule with the imprints is that you want to keep them at least 2 to 3 feet away from any type of wireless devices, and this would include your phone. So storing them in a nice, cool place that is 2 to 3 feet away from any type of Wi-Fi signals, so your router, your cell phone, anything like that. Most clients place them either in the bathroom or in the kitchen somewhere that's 2 or 3 feet away again from anything that has any type of wireless connectivity to it. Same reasoning behind the sun rays is that is energy that it's gone through there, so we want to make sure that that isn't around your bottles for a long amount of time, a few hours or so that the energy doesn't get into your actual imprint and you're not ingesting that as well. Lastly, we want to make sure that you don't share your imprints with anybody else. It's very important, just like any medication. Just because it's making you feel better doesn't mean that it's exactly what the next person needs. So each one of these is comprised of your very personalized imprints from your bioresonance scan. So we want to make sure that you're not sharing it with anyone and causing any energetic balance for them. So for example, if you're getting really amazing results from your allergy imprint and someone else has allergies, this isn't your run-of-the-mill generic type of allergy, homeopathic or energetic. It's again made specifically with the frequencies that you need for your particular allergy, so we want to make sure that you're not sharing it with anybody. Now, in between those 5 minutes, this is probably another question that we receive a lot. While you're waiting those 5 minutes in between just your imprints, yes, it is 100% okay for you to go ahead and take the rest of your supplementation. The reason that we spread the energetics apart is because we're asking the body in a form of frequency to do something that we need to get rectified with your body. But in between that, it is perfectly okay to take any type of physical supplementation, such as herbals, capsules, any other homeopathic tinctures, and things of that nature. So don't feel like it's going to take forever to complete your protocol. Once you take one imprint, you can start taking your other medications and your supplements. At the 5 minute mark, you can take the second imprint and continue if you haven't completed the rest of your protocol for that given time of day. Now, when we are talking about drops, this is another question that we get from clients, as well as dropper fools. When we refer to how many drops should I take, we're literally referring to a drop. So if you can actually see this here, when you move forward, this is literally what we mean by a drop from your dropper. Which brings me to the next point, your dropper. You will find that you will have different size tinctures, and each one will have a different size and length of the actual glass dropper, which is this portion here. However, the amount contained in each dropper is pretty much the same. And the reason we say that is that the mechanism for the dropper and how much gets pulled in is actually the top, this portion here. So if you actually see this portion here, what you'll do is you'll push the top, release, and then lift up, and that has filled your dropper. Now you will have times that you have a much larger dropper in a much larger bottle. And what we mean by taking a dropper is again the same thing, pushing, releasing, and lifting up. The dropper will not be full. At any time of these, the dropper will not be full. You can see that it's empty right here. We already know how much is in the dropper, and so that's why we're letting you know how many droppers to use. Please don't feel like you have to pull upside down and then start to get more to fill up the dropper completely. That's not what we mean by a dropper. At that point, you'd be taking 2 droppers. So that's something else we would like to clarify for you. If you have any questions, especially the next portion, which we refer to as starting low and going slow. And what we refer to this is that there are certain supplements, homeopathics or tinctures, that we recognize can cause a little bit more sensitivities than others. So your practitioner may opt on the schedule to have you start at a low dose, such as 1 drop perhaps, and then slowly titrate up or increase the amount of drops that you're taking to the goal amount of drops. Now, if you look at your schedule, it may say 15 drops in the morning and 15 drops at night, but the practitioner is putting a note saying, please start at 1 drop and increase over 15 days. What we mean by that is that you will take your dropper on the first day and literally complete 1 drop. Again, this is a drop. Once you complete that drop in the morning or at night per your schedule, you're starting with 1 drop. If you feel fine, the next day we want you to move that up to 2 drops. 2 drops in the morning, 2 drops at night, or however it says on your schedule. Sometimes it's 3 times a day. We're referring to 1 drop at each admission time. So each time you administer it, we want to make sure that it's that specified amount of drops per day until you start working up and titrating to the goal set amount. This is going to reduce any adverse effects or any type of sensitivities that you may have. Others don't have any sensitivities, so it's very easy to work up. We just want to make sure that you feel as great as possible, because that's what we're here and that's what our goal is for you to do, is for your practitioner to make you feel better and healthy and get your body on the right track. So if that's something that you see on your schedule, please make sure that you are paying attention to those specific supplements in which we ask you to do this. And again, if it is, for example, a tincture that says to take 15 drops in the morning and 15 drops at night, the way that you'll start, only if it says to start low and go slow, means to take 1 drop in the morning, 1 drop on night on day 1. The next day, should you feel fine, you'll take 2 drops in the morning, and 2 drops at night. You feel fine, the next day 3 drops and 3 drops until you successively get to whatever the goal amount is on your schedule. It can be 8, it can be 10, it can be 15, it can be any other number in between. So if outside of this you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to your practitioner for any questions, inquiries, comments, and results. And we look forward to servicing you again soon. Thank you.